Hi, we are live for another Finance Friday. I do want to let you know what our topic of discussion will be today. Today we are talking about wills, and we will be reading from Quicken's Will Maker Plus 2017 book. I just got this book and I figured why not share it with you guys so that we can learn more about wills together. So today's topic isn't so much going to be me sharing like a blog post. We're going to be doing a book discussion. It's not really going to be a discussion. I'm going to read from the book so that you get a better understanding. So I am going to start in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and share this video. And I'm also going to link to where the book can be found. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to pull that link up so that you can find it. And I'm going to put an Amazon affiliate link to the book so that you can, if you're interested in purchasing it, you can do that through this link. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, so this is the 2017 edition. Every year the editions change to make sure that it's the most up-to-date. So this is not something that you can do all by yourself. You will need to have witnesses. You will need to have things notarized. In the back of the book, there is a CD that you put in your computer to start the wizard and get started. But it's something that is pretty simple, pretty easy to do. But before you do anything, I always advise people to read. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to read the first couple chapters together. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me share this in the Facebook post. So I don't actually see it. So I don't know where it's sharing. It must be, oh, okay. So I do see it now. And I am sharing the link to the book. So it's called Will Maker Plus 2017. Okay, so let me go ahead and also share this on Twitter so that other people can join the discussion today. So we have it here. And we need a link. All right. Okay. So I have shared that post so that other people can join us. So again, over 3 million copies sold, and it's something that I definitely advise people. I have a post, which I will also link to, where I talk about the importance of having a will. And someone shared this book with me, and I figured, hey, why not check it out? Let me give it some, just a review by reading it and getting a better understanding. And why not do that with my readers? So that is what we are going to do today. So thank you again for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to open the table of contents. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is the inside. And it says, your legal companion for estate planning. And then it talks about contributors. And then chapter 1 is planning your estate with Will Maker Plus. And it starts with your will. So we're going to go ahead and start at the very beginning. And let's see. Okay, it says, your legal companion for estate planning. If you're like a lot of people, you have a nagging feeling that you need to make a will, but you haven't gotten around to it because it sounds hard or expensive or just unpleasant. Or maybe you picked up this software because you are that rare individual who loves to plan and get organized. We encourage those tendencies. We're here to help. With Willmaker Plus, making a legal will doesn't have to be difficult. In fact, you can probably get it done in under an hour. You're smart to pay attention to that nagging feeling. Almost everyone needs a will. All right, so hold on a second. I have my iPad plugged in, and it's saying that I am losing power. So I'm hoping that is charging. All right, so it says, almost everyone needs a will. It lets you leave your property, name a guardian for young children, and eliminate uncertainty about your wishes, all of which will spare your family headaches later. And a will isn't the only thing to think about. In addition, you may want to take steps to help your family avoid probate court proceedings after your death. And everyone should consider preparing a living will and durable powers of attorney. Important documents that can help you stay in control of your own health care and financial choices while saving your family lots of hassles and heartaches too. You can use Willmaker Plus to prepare these legal tools and more. To help you get started, you'll find Willmaker's 5 most important estate planning documents waiting for you on the My Documents screen. From there, you can start a will, power of attorney, healthcare directive, final arrangements document, or a document for caregivers and survivors. You can start any of the will maker's other documents from all documents screen. Our carefully designed question and answer format makes the process as easy as it can be. Our goal is to help you over any hurdles by providing clear guidance and encouragement at every step. After you select a document to begin, we'll ask you a series of straightforward questions. The software uses your answers to make a legal document that's valid in your state. If you're not sure how to answer a particular question, you'll find lots of practical and legal information within easy reach. On our screen, Help is there to guide you through questions, large and small. You'll probably be able to use Willmaker Plus to handle your own basic estate planning without hiring a lawyer. But we'll always alert you to a situation in which you might benefit from the help of a lawyer or another expert. When you're done making a document, we'll tell you everything you need to know about how to finalize it and make it legal. Keep in mind that you can plan your estate with a little bit of time. Start by making just one document, such as your will. When you're ready, come back to the program and make more. You can think of Willmaker Plus as your estate planning companion, providing trustworthy, legal, and practical advice along the path that's best for you. Congratulations on starting your estate planning. It's a wonderful thing to do for your loved ones. We know from long experience that putting a second estate plan into place can bring peace of mind and satisfaction to those who take time to do it. So I just want to stop here for a second. So that was our first section, and I want to just take a few minutes to talk about the singer Prince. So I was shocked when Prince died, like everyone else, and I was even more shocked that he didn't have a will. It seems to me that anybody who is an entertainer and who has accumulated a large amount of wealth would at the very least have a will to say who that money or who their assets are going to go to after they die, I still feel like how could he not have so many lawyers around him and so many friends and so many people in his circle and not have a will? I don't know. They say that he didn't have one, but I'm really hoping that one day by some miracle they find one, because it's almost unheard of and unimaginable that he would be in the business of entertaining for so long and not have a will. So for us who aren't on Prince status, I mean, we know that it's important to have a will. And it's not like, we don't realize that people die unexpectedly, because we all do. We all realize that just driving in our cars or, being anywhere, that tomorrow isn't promised. And so to be a forward thinker, then we need to have, we need to take time and do what we can while we're alive to make sure that once we're no longer here, our family doesn't have to deal with don't have to be confused about what to do with our assets or the things that we have, that we've accumulated in our lifetime. So that's why making a will is so important. And what I like about this book is that it does come with a CD. It does come with a guide as to what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and start chapter 1. And if you have any thoughts or just let me know, leave a comment in the comments section. So again, we're reading from Willmaker Plus 2017. And chapter 1 begins. Estate planning is the process of arranging for what will happen to your property when you die. Whatever you own at your death is called your estate. It can also include making arrangements for the care of your children in the event of your death, planning your own care and the care of your property in case someday you can't make decisions on your own, taking steps so that your inheritors can avoid probate court proceedings after death. And if you own a very large amount of property, planning to avoid federal or state tax. We can help you with all of these issues and a few others as well. What follows is a discussion of the legal documents you can create with Willmaker Plus, so you can see what you can accomplish and decide whether or not they fit your situation. Your will. Perhaps the most essential reason to make an estate plan is to have a say about who gets your property when you die. A will is the easiest way to do this. If you don't use a will or some other legal method to transfer your property when you die, state law determines what happens to your possessions. In addition to specifying who will inherit your property, you can also use your will to name alternates in case your first choice die before you do. Choose an executor, someone you trust to oversee the distribution of your property after your death. Name a guardian to raise your young children if you can't, and name a trusted adult to manage the property that a child or adult inherits from you. We give you several ways to handle this that are explained in chapter 7. So I want to take another moment to pause. I just thought of Michael Jackson and how he also died unexpectedly. And unlike Prince, Michael Jackson did have a will. And I remember listening to how his will read about his children. And I found it to be rather fascinating because he had several, when his will was shared, it shared who the alternate people to care for his children were. And of course, his children are staying with his mother, who was his first choice, but one of the alternate persons was Elizabeth Taylor. And I thought it was very interesting how it shows you what a person, how much a person thinks about people when they name them in their will. So he must really have thought very highly of Elizabeth Taylor to say that if his mother can't take care of his kids, he would want her to do that. And I thought that was very telling. And so when we're learning about wills and learning about what to do, just so that our family will be taken care of when we are no longer here, it's important to note that, when you get all of this, when you get your will taken care of, you must have it notarized. You must have a witness. Like there's a process. And sometimes if people don't fill out that process correctly, then their will is deemed null and void. And nobody wants that to happen, especially if you've taken time to make sure that your estate is in order. So it's important to follow the procedure of your state so that it can be followed correctly. All right, so the next section says property that doesn't pass through a will. It says, usually you cannot use a will to leave certain kinds of assets, including property you leave through a living trust, bank accounts for which you have named a pay-on-death beneficiary, stocks and bonds are vehicles for which you have named a transfer on death beneficiary. Real estate left through a transfer on death deed, property owned as community property with the right of survivorship. Property owned in joint tenancy or tenancy by the entirety, which automatically goes to the surviving owners at your death. And retirement accounts, IRAs and 401k plans, and some pension funds that go to your beneficiary, the beneficiary you named in the forms provided by the account custodian. Wow, that is a pretty comprehensive list of things that you cannot use a will to leave those type of assets. So it says other ways to leave property. A will is not the only way, and in some cases, not the best way to transfer ownership of your property when you die, especially if you're older and own a fair amount of property. You should consider whether it makes sense to plan now to help your inheritors avoid time-consuming and expensive probate court proceedings after your death. If you have a very large estate, you may also want to think about avoiding federal or state estate tax. To learn more about using a will as part of a larger estate plan, see Chapter 13. So the next session reads Durable Power of Attorney for Finances. It's a good idea for almost everyone with property or an income to make a durable power of attorney for finances. It's particularly important, however, if you fear that health problems may make it impossible for you to handle your financial matters. Making a durable power of attorney ensures that someone you trust will be able to manage the many practical financial tasks that will arise if you become incapacitated. For example, bills must be paid, bank deposits must be made, and someone must handle insurance and benefits paperwork. Many other matters may need attention as well, from property repairs to managing investments or a small business. In most cases, a durable power of attorney for finances is the best way to take care of tasks like these. If you ever need to revoke your power of attorney, use the revocation form that prints with your documents. Or if you want to revoke a previously made power of attorney, you can use the revocation of power of attorney accessible from the All Documents screen. See Chapter 14 for more information. All right, so for now, that is all we're going to share right now. And this is page 9 of the book Willmaker Plus 2017. So what we're doing, what we did today, we read the first part of chapter 1, and we read about estate planning. So what we learned that an estate is whatever you own when you die. So an estate isn't only dealing with like a home and physical property, it's whatever you own when you die. We also learned that a will is the easiest way to say who will get the property that you own when you die. So that was something else that we learned. Another thing we learned what property doesn't pass on through a will. So anything that you had to name a beneficiary for, that's not going to pass on through your will, like your 401k, your bank accounts, stocks and bonds, vehicles, real estates left through transfer on deed, and other things. So those are some of the things that we learned don't pass on through a will. Another thing that we learned was about a durable power of attorney. So they're definitely promoting that you have one in place in your will. So thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, our topic today about wills, and you want us to continue to go through the book together, definitely let me know in the comments section, especially if you're watching the rebroadcast, because I'm happy to share as I read it. I usually read on my own in my spare time, but if this is something that you would enjoy learning about and having me read it with you, that is totally possible. I have also left a link, it's an affiliate link in the bottom that shares how you can order this book online on Amazon. So thanks for tuning in. I hope that you will tune in next week. If you guys decide that you don't want to hear the book being read, I can definitely next week provide a overview about what I read about chapter 1 and just give you a brief synopsis of what chapter 1 offered. But I know that the information in here is very helpful, especially if you don't know a whole lot about making wills. Again, we talked about Prince and how he died without a will. We also talked about Michael Jackson and how he had a will. So we all want to be like Mike in this sense. We want to have a will. So we want to have a will in place so that our estate is taken care of if something were to happen to us. Of course, I don't want anything to happen to us, and I know that the topic of death isn't one that people enjoy talking about, but it is an important one because anybody that is alive is sure to die one day. And so that is just the facts of it. And so I definitely, yes, thanks for joining us, Keisha. Yes, we need to be like Mike and we need to have a will. So today I talked about Willmaker Plus 2017. Willmaker is through Quicken, and it's a book that has a CD where it gives you the different documents and the different tools that you need to make a will. Of course, you can't just have the book and the CD and think everything is going to be taken care of. There are some legal things that also need to be done, like you have to have witnesses that sign things, you have to have things notarized. So it just helps you get the ball rolling and the process started. And I'm giving everyone the option of, I can definitely read the book with everyone week after week. We can tune in and we can read it together, or I can just provide a synopsis of each chapter, because I think this is a very important topic. Because I think people, a lot of times we just hear will and we think, oh my gosh, I don't want to get a lawyer. I don't want to have to do all these things. But in the new millennium, it's very easy to get these things taken care of. It's just like you just need to have that education. You need to know what's involved and what you need to do next. And so that's what I'm here for. That's what Finance Friday is all about. Yes, I know. It's not a topic that we like talking about in our families, and it's unfortunate, but it's so important. A couple weeks ago, when I missed our first Finance Friday, our family, we were attending a funeral, and it's something that none of us like death, and we don't like going to funerals, but it makes things so much easier. And I was fortunate to be in this situation. The person who died did have a will in place, and it wasn't a scary experience. It wasn't frightening. Everything was taken care of, so it was like a breath of fresh air. And so that's why I got this book, because it's like, we need to know the ins and outs so that we're informed, so that, if you choose to hire a lawyer, you want to know that they're doing what they're supposed to. I once applied for a job at a legal office where the guy was in charge of estate planning, and he was a lawyer, and he was handling people's trusts and their wills. And he told me, he was like, their stuff is all over the place, and I don't know. I've had so many clients, and I don't have my stuff organized. So he wasn't organizing his clients' stuff. So I was like, oh my gosh, that is the scariest thing, especially when you put your trust in a lawyer who's not taking care of business. So whenever you get something involved, you need to be aware of what's going on so that you know that the person that you've hired is doing the right things. So I'm here to share my journey in learning more about wills and personal finance with you guys. So I look forward to sharing more about wills next week. And so if you want us to go through this book, definitely let me know, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to share information that we may not already know, and together we can learn more. So I thank you for tuning in week after week, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye. Okay.